Right, we're live. What is going on, people? Wow, it's like, what is it now? It's 72 hours later, or 4 days later, or whatever. And it's really that opportunity for us to look at where do we go from here. There's a lot of things going on over the weekend. I didn't want to do any videos because I thought it was such a bad opening to the week. Most of it was what we predicted. And over the Saturday and the Sunday, like African Guna, I was listening to a few things, a few podcasts. But you know what? I just didn't want. I just wanted to clear my weekend, have fun, spend time with the family, catch up on some TV, and just take my mind away from Arsenal for the weekend. That's really what I wanted to do. So now that's the tsunami's blown over, the cyclone settled down, and now I'm kind of ready to talk about Arsenal. What about you, African Guna? How was your weekend?
Weekend was all right, to be honest. I didn't really want. I know it was the first weekend back in the Premier League, and I mean, I really honestly didn't want to watch any games after our loss. Specifically because I knew it was going to make me feel bad to see all the other bigger teams that we are, so-called rivals. I knew they were going to perform better than us. They're stronger than us as usual, and that they were going to get the points and get the job done as usual, something that Arsenal never does, right? So, I mean, I did watch a little bit of the City Spurs game. I think was obviously Spurs winning. I think they did deserve it. I think Lucas Moura was actually really great, and a lot of people don't rate him, and I think he's a good player. I take him in our team, and again, I mean, Son. People talk about how this guy cries like a baby when this guy is a professional, man. He's incredible, really. I'd love to have that guy on our team. He does everything, and he's a superstar player. I mean, I think he's worth 80 to 100 million easily. So yeah, it's quite sad to see all the other teams win. But yeah, I mean, 2 weeks to go, and I mean, we're gonna get into this, but let's hope that Arsenal make sufficient enough changes, because they're definitely not gonna make all the changes that we want. We know that expectation is a fallacy. So yeah. I mean, have some sort of standard or expectation that in the next 2 weeks we are going to address at least 2 of the 4 main issues or priorities that we have in our squad, and hopefully with decent players.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, and I think I summed it up at the end of my rant video, where I said, we've sold Joe Willock, so we got 25 million, and then I said we're probably going to go in for Aaron Ramsdale or some replacement. I think at the time I was saying Maddison, and then I ended the video saying, but can I really trust you to spend it? Because you've had all summer to just acknowledge that you needed an attacking midfielder. So why is it taking you 6 weeks to get to this point? It's longer than 6 weeks, actually. Yeah, roughly it is about 6 weeks. Why is it taking you that long to get to this point?
Longer than that, Apollo. I'm sorry, longer than that, because it's not only this season. It was last season.
Oh, it's last season, yeah.
Thing. We needed a creative midfielder. I mean, it was so obvious, and we ended up getting no one. Getting Ozil completely out of the team, which now we're seeing Aubameyang, Lacazette out of the team. Willian also completely out of the team. So, kind of showing that maybe Ozil was kind of hard done by. We don't know yet, but the signs are there, right? Arteta.
Did you see his goal this weekend? Did you see Ozil's goal?
Yeah, I did. But yeah, I mean, what can you say, right? So you can clear issues, right? So yeah, hoping that, I mean, Maddison is obviously my number 1 target, and I don't know how you feel. I think he is expensive, but I don't care. The problem with Odegaard is we saw him play last season, and don't get me wrong, he's very talented. He's a great player. I just don't get that X factor from him. I want an X factor player. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing that superstar player like Sanchez that can just create anything out of the blue and just kind of like just blossom our team. And unfortunately, Odegaard is not that player. He's silky, but I think he has Ozil vibes. He can definitely get pushed on the ball. I think he's not aggressive enough. I think he can go missing in games, especially in the away games. There's going to be crowds, and the away crowds. I don't know how he's going to do. I just don't think he's that player. I don't think, he is good, don't get me wrong, but he's not the player we're looking for. We're looking for a goal-scoring midfielder that's going to take the ball, is going to drive and open up, and open up in the middle. We keep saying that we play in this donut shape. It's like this horseshoe, right? I mean, we're just going from Tierney
round
to Bellerin.
Round and around.
We don't have that player who's going to drive in the middle and actually dribble one or two players, get players to commit, and then make the pass to the winger who's going to be one-on-one with the keeper. We're missing that player, and I don't think that's Odegaard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got to look at it tactically, and with Odegaard, it was the only thing. I know you said, and a lot of people, we didn't address the creativeness. We got in Odegaard. That was the move that was supposed to skyrocket us. And when you can only look at the record when he played, we were the second best. Him and Smith Rowe, Pepe, second best record on the latter part of the season. A lot of people were kind of a bit miffed because I said we're not even opening up the season exactly how we closed the season. We closed the season without Bellerin, without Xhaka. We had the 5-game winning streak. Partey was a big part of it. El Nene a big part of it. Pepe, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, big part of the 5-game winning streak. The team that played Brentford was not it. We didn't have the Odegaard backing up Smith. Smith Rowe, for all of his talent, looked a bit lost. He ran the lanes. He looked busy. Some people say he was our best player. I mean, I voted for him. Some people said it was Sambi. A lot of people voted for Sambi. It was either Smith Rowe or Sambi. But the fact of the matter is, with all his talent, he still isn't there yet. That's why Arteta is looking for a solution. An Aouar, a Maddison, an Odegaard. He's looking for that player because Smith Rowe is not the finished article.
Aouar's 25 million. How can we sit here and talk about this and say it's 25 million regardless? I mean, even if we signed him, it doesn't mean we don't get Odegaard on loan or something, right? So there's no excuse.
But remember, he said he wouldn't mind coming to Arsenal, but he would prefer Champions League first. So this, in terms of Aouar, no one's coming for him. Like no Champions League team is coming for him.
He doesn't have choice.
So they're waiting for his agent to say, "Okay, let's get talks on." So that is something that's possibly going to happen down the road. But an Odegaard would plug that in. It's a media between. It's 20 million cheaper than Maddison, and probably about 10 million more expensive than Odegaard. But Odegaard's played with the team. He's fitted in. He looks like he's adapted to it. It took him a bit of time, but it looks like, for me, I think that we could be getting more goals.
Inconsistent. Yeah? I think he scored 3 goals. He scored He scored a banger. I mean, he scored a good goal. But again, he's just not that X factor player for me, you know. And I'm not saying that Aouar would be, but I can see more from Aouar. I can see more creativity. I can see more aggression.
Yeah, I think so.
More directness.
I have to say, my thoughts on Maddison have changed in the last week because I've looked at it as if, let me dump 70 million in my lap. What will I do with it? If I had 70 million, I would not buy a Maddison. I just can't do it because we have so many needs elsewhere. I would buy a right back. I'd buy Max Aarons. I'd get Aouar. I'd get the Aouar deal done straight away, and then I'd get myself a goalkeeper, and it would probably be Sam Johnston. If you look at, Aaron Ramsdale is just the wrong choice. We are actually going to talk about him in a second, but he's just the wrong choice. I want to bring a few things up here that I was looking at in regards to. Anyway, let me see if I can share my screen.
Just while you look at that kid point about Maddison and the 70 million in regards to what you're saying, I 100% agree. The problem is I have no faith that they can actually spend it. You know, even if they're going to spend that 70 million on Maddison, I don't see them taking that money and getting Suma, Onana, Max Aarons, and Aouar for the same amount of money. And that's 4 players that come straight into your starting 11. Arsenal just don't have this mentality, unfortunately. So, yeah. But I can
so let me get rid of this banner. So here they're looking at the top 10 goalkeepers of the last Premier League season. And number 10, they've got Schmeichel. Number 8, they've got Lloris. They've got Mendy at Chelsea is number 8, sorry. And then they've got number 7, Nick Pope at Burnley. And it says here, no keeper has a better save percentage than Pope. 70% of his 148 shots on target that he's faced, which is the best in the Premier League. Then with number 6, we've got Robert Sanchez from Brighton, and we know we're just ripping up Brighton. But here, look at this. Number 5, we've got Sam Johnston, West Brom, ranked number 5 as the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. Then we've got Messina at Leeds. We've got Iriol at Fulham. And then we've got We've got Edison, Manchester City. There's no
Now,
Allison down there, by the way. And
Allison
number one, and
wow.
number one is Martinez. Now, the funny thing about that is, I just want to move on to this, is when I look at 90 minutes post, which is the ranking the goalkeepers from 20 all the way down to 1, the worst goalkeeper at number 20 is Aaron Ramsdale. He's the worst. And when I looked at the schematics of it all, I looked at it and I thought, okay, he was with Bournemouth. And what happened when he was with Bournemouth? They got relegated. He went to Sheffield United. What happened when he was at Sheffield United? They got relegated. So we're taking absolutely the worst goalkeeper and trying to do a deal for 20, 30 million.
My perspective on this is, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about goalkeepers, and I'm not going to pretend like I do and I watch them to be able to actually make a fair judgment. The way I see it is, okay, I read an article today about The Athletic. The deal is back on. It's most probably going to happen because we've been pushing way too hard on this and spending way too much time on this for this not to happen. So I think it's going to happen. It seems like it's going to be around 25 million instead of that 37 million or 35 million we were talking about. So they've lowered their fee by 10 million. The way I see this is that he's young, and I think he's going to be better than Leno. I think that he's going to play out the back better than Leno, and I think he's a decent shot stopper. So my opinion is that I don't think our defense is going to have as much pressure with him on the ball. I think our team might transform a little bit, if you know what I mean, because the way we play with Leno is we play out from the back and we get put onto immediate pressure, and teams know how we play. And Leno can't actually play a pass, like a pinpoint pass. He can't ping the ball to the wings and actually get it on target.
Yeah.
He just clears it completely. He doesn't have that skill in his locker. So
Ben White and Mari was screaming at him against Brentford time and time again. We were doing live match commentary.
Mari also sucks. So if you're a shitty player, you don't want to be put under pressure. You're telling me, you know what I mean? If you're Van Dijk in that situation, you're not even, you don't care because you have the skill and the quality to just deal with anything. You know, you're just too good. That's the problem. We have shit players, and then they're making shit decisions, and then the shit system, and it is all culminating into crap.
So at the moment, what do we know about that? Let's see if we can get a banner up here. So what do we know about Aaron Ramsdale? Well, in my opinion, if you want my opinion, I think he's going to probably be an Arsenal player by the end of this transfer window. It's not the deal we want. The whole media knows it's not what we want. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, Arsenal have got themselves in a situation where they are scratching and searching for homegrown players because they are. If they let go and Nketiah, we know Willock's gone, Reece Nelson and Maitland-Niles, then they're going to be under their quota, and they need 8 players. They need 8 homegrown players, and we cannot be shipping off all of this young talent and not bringing any in. And that's the reason why they're forcing this guy. Really, they should be going after Sam Johnson from West Brom. That's who they should be going for. He'll be a cheaper option, and he's much better in terms of a polished goalkeeper with what they've got in Aaron Ramsgate.
I've never seen him play. See, that's why I said from the start. I mean, I haven't seen him play. I can't really make a comment. But if he doesn't fit the system, I can understand why we're not going for him. But if he does, then I mean, again, like, what do you say about this club?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's when you look at what the owner's saying, this is the Sheffield United boss, Djukanovic. He's actually confirmed that Aaron Ramsdale wants to join Arsenal. So the player wants to come, and that's from the horse's mouth. That's from his own manager. So this isn't any football agents. It's not from any of the links on Twitter or anything like that. Their own manager is saying the player wants to join. And he said, naturally, he wants to be a Premier League player. I'm talking with him. He believes it can be a good move for himself. He understands Arsenal are interested in him, but this is a business. What he's saying by this business is they want to get as much for this crap goalkeeper as possible. They want 32 million. Arsenal aren't moving from 20 million. 20 million is the highest Arsenal will go. In my opinion, he ain't even worth that.
It's actually 35. They wanted 35 million initial fee plus add-ons, and now we're talking about 24 million initial fee plus add-ons. So about 27, I would say. But it's still expensive, still stupid when you consider we sold Martinez for 20 million. And I mean, people who watch.
But forget Martinez. We had Matt Ryan for free. Matt Ryan was here.
Yeah, but maybe he wanted to start. Maybe he wanted to, more minutes because he didn't really get that much playing time last
He
season.
didn't, but he's an Arsenal fan, and he
Arsenal
said,
fan,
"Look,
yeah.
I'm happy to stay another season." It was Edu that said we don't want him.
Yeah, but I'm sure he must have said like, "Yeah, I'm cool to stay, but I need to play at least half the games or at least 1/4 of the games." And maybe they just couldn't guarantee that. And he's like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go start somewhere else, regardless if my heart is at this club, right?" So yeah, but I mean,
I mean,
Apollo
look,
paying 27 million, 24 million on this guy. We have money to spend, unless this is the Joe Willock money going straight to this guy, which would be absurd.
that's
It looks like we have money to spend.
well. I think we've got to look at it. If this guy comes in the next 7 days, I think Bert Leno is sold. I think because Bert Leno is
This season.
yeah. I think he'll be sold. I think
Impossible. To who? We haven't heard anything. There's no way. It takes us months to do deals, and then all of a sudden, like that, we'll sell him. I don't.
It does, but remember, he's one of the players like Bellerin, Xhaka did want to leave, Lacazette. These players want to leave the club, and at the moment they're struggling to find potential suitors because people just haven't got any money in the game. Everyone thinks
two things. Not only that, Apollo. One, the players that we have are average, and two, we give them high wages. That's two big reasons why no other team can afford them, especially for the amount that we're asking for. And we go back to the Xhaka example, right?
Yeah. Let's see what's going on here. A couple of the guys have got some stuff to say. Leander says this Ramsdale signing doesn't make sense for Arteta. Again, it makes sense for the homegrown rule, but he isn't going to benefit Arsenal in any other way. It just isn't a good goalkeeper. So we're bouncing around, trying to solve problems by creating more problems. If we'd have just kept Martinez, everybody would have been happy. We would have moved on with one of the best goalies in the league, in my opinion, the best goalie in the league. Instead, it's taken us years to solve a problem which we've created. And it said Edu is thinking about an English core project. Edu, for me, at the moment, Edu's the sole source problem at Arsenal. Regardless of what's happening with Arteta and Vinay, Edu has not been doing his job. Who was outside of Martinez? Who was Edu that brought in that has benefited this club? You tell me. Give me one name, one player that he has brought in outside of Martinelli, because Martinelli is a boss. Yeah, but name me one player who he's brought in that has benefited this club. None of them have.
Congo potentially, but I mean it's not there yet. It's not there yet.
But Lokonga wasn't Edu. It was Vincent Kompany calling Arteta and bigging him up, and then they done their research and brought him in.
Still had to go and get the deal done, right?
Oh yeah. But he didn't scout him. That was Vincent Kompany, and Vincent Kompany was naughty. He put that on Instagram so everybody knew about it.
But Edu's job is not to go and scout, right? His job is just to negotiate the deals once the scouting report comes to him and they agree that, okay, this is a player that we are going to go and see if we can get, right? And then in terms of the Aaron Ramsdale, it's definitely not Edu, right? We've seen and we've read that it's the goalkeeping coach, Onaki, whatever that guy's name, the guy who signed Runnerson. And again, I want to reiterate that, I mean, Apollo, that I don't want to say I wasn't a fan of Martinez, but I didn't realize how big of a deal it was when we did sell him, as you and Ebony clearly did. And I am starting to come around to your point of view and seeing that, like, it was a really bad mistake. I mean, I knew the price to begin with was terrible, but I mean, I'm seeing the quality and I'm seeing him win and embracing Messi. And I mean, it's just terrible. But I want to be honest. I don't think this signing is going to be as bad as people think. I think people are judging way too quickly. I think he's going to improve us. I think he is going to make mistakes. There are going to be times where he does something and people are going to say, oh my God, how did we sign this guy? He's crap. But then I think there's other times where he's going to make some good shot stopping. And I think he's going to start our attack because he's going to be more fluid. I just feel Leno's so bad on the ball, and I just want anyone else. I don't care who it is. I just want to see something else, and I think automatically it's going to be better than Leno because you can't get worse than what Leno's been doing.
Yeah, it's let's see what Ashek was saying. Pablo Mari is not fit to play football. Man should be a model. That's what they said about Giroud, remember? Leander said, again, Ramsdale is an English Leno. I don't even think he's that good. and I don't really rate Leno, but I think Leno's a great shot stopper, even though he let one in at his near post, which he should have never done. That is a golden rule for goalkeepers. Don't get beaten on your near post. Gerard saying, good day to you as well, Gerard. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're up for this weekend against Chelsea. The Assemble said, good afternoon. Do you think that Ramsdale is the correct keeper for Arteta's system? I think he plays the ball out of the back four better. I think he's better on set pieces than Leno. I'm not sure if he's as good a shot stopper as Leno. I think on balance, they're probably both the same. I don't think you've improved.
No, but you can't say
any
that
worse off.
Polo, because if he's better at playing out the back, that is right now a huge issue. So if you, I think it pushes us way further in terms of an overall team than what we are right now with Leno.
Yeah, Ikuke says Edu doesn't do Edu doesn't do the contracts. Edu's job, he's Richard Garlick. Edu's job is as the technical director to scout the players, talk to them about Vinay and Arteta. Vinay and Arteta are in the discussion, but it's Edu's job. It's Edu's choice. He's the one that finds the players, and at the moment, he just hasn't been doing a real good job of it. When you consider that we had one of the best in Sev Mislintat, and then we've gone to Edu, who was unproven at this level. You know, we know he did it on the international level, but on the club level, this is Edu's first job as a technical director. This is Arteta's first job as a manager. He came in as a head coach, Arteta. They promoted him to a manager. So we're dealing with two guys who are new in their roles. So it's no surprise that we're struggling in the front office at where we are right now. Sentiment, what's going on, Sentiment? He says, Apollo, you can't credit Martinelli to Edu. Frank Gaigo is the guy who scouted him. And so again, even that you've got to think about. I'm waiting for Edu to bring in the Guendouzi, to bring in that type of player who's going to cause rock waves in there. And Lokonga, yes, he's great. But again, that's from Vincent Kompany. With his time with Arteta at Man City, the call went through to Arteta and he said, look, you got to look at this guy. His quote was, he will be the next Fabregas. That's what Vincent Kompany said. And at the moment, I laughed at him when he said that. But when I've seen him play, this guy's captained Anderlecht, 20 years old. He looks so good. He is way better than Xhaka. And remember, guys, when Guendouzi was in the midfield, he was our best midfielder. He was better than Xhaka and all those other players.
Absolutely.
So
I want to say on him, I mean, I'm not taking away anything from him, Apollo, but like we've been starved. We've been starved so long that anyone that comes in, we're like, oh my God, like, we're seeing something different. And we're seeing what we're kind of expecting some things, like some of the moves that he was doing. I mean, some of the passes, I mean, the flicks. He was actually almost assisted our first goal. Our goal. And he's not supposed to be that player, but you can see that he's way more creative than any midfielder. I think he might even be more creative or on par with Guendouzi. We've seen Guendouzi give assists to Aubameyang against players, and we've seen Guendouzi has pulled some strings, and this guy seems like he has everything. I think he needs to start over Xhaka. There's no way Xhaka can start over this guy. But we know that we've given this fraud a new contract.
It's just, I can't even talk about that. Sorry, guys. You lot know how I feel about Xhaka, and I'm not going to. Some of you lot are Xhaka fans out there, and I don't want to piss you off. So for the sake of that, I'm boycotting him again this season.
I just don't understand how.
I'm going to boycott him. I boycotted him at the back end of last season because I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that guy, and right now, I know he's got a lot of support out there, and I don't want to disappoint you guys. So for the sake of my sanity and your sanity, I will be boycotting Xhaka this season again.
I don't care how they feel. He's shit. This guy is causing us much pain, and he's going to continue causing us pain this year, Apollo. Come on. Look, he is what, we saw the stat that Tierney and Xhaka were our two main players in terms of creating something in the last game. That tells you everything you need to know. Xhaka is one of the main players that all our play is going through, and he's
I know.
Of course, we're not going to be able to do anything if he's the main guy that's trying to pull the strings. He's too slow. We saw him almost get caught again by three players. If that was a goal, imagine what are we going to see here? he's definitely gonna make that mistake again this season at some point.
Yeah. I
Just
mean, the thing is, I've got to do a fantasy football video after this, probably sometimes, maybe later on this afternoon, I'll do it. And when I was talking about Salah and I was talking about Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes, I said, as a midfield player at United, everything goes through him. So he has the most chances created, he has the most assists, he scores goals. The guy is just fantastic. And you've got Xhaka in the midfield playing as what supposed people call him a creative midfielder. I've never seen it at Arsenal.
absolutely
Sorry,
not.
never seen it.
Not even a defensive mid. I don't know what he is. He's not. He's just a midfielder. Like he just said, "Oh, my position is midfield," and that's how he became a
Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah,
He doesn't have the skills to
yeah,
that like label him as a midfielder. And
yeah,
I want to say one more point, Polo. We're not finishing in the top 4, top 6 if Xhaka is in our team. It's not gonna happen. If
yeah,
he got benched and Arteta doesn't have the balls at some point to realize, okay, crap, this
yeah.
cannot work anymore. I need to put Lukonga with Partey. I don't think that. There's no way we're gonna.
Yeah. If that doesn't happen in September, then we're doomed, and that's it. You cannot compete at this level in the Premiership with that midfield. It's the worst midfield in the league, and Lukonga is so good to see Lukonga in there, but you need to put him next to Thomas Partey. Then you'll have something to work with. You'll have the engine, the work rate. You have the creativity, you have the defensive aptitude, you have all of that stuff that you can work with from a base. But at the moment, as you are now, you're not going to be able to compete in this league. There is someone talking on Facebook, so I'm going to have to go to a Facebook 101 just to see who it is.
Guendouzi assisted last game, huh? Just so you know. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The guy for like 10 million, 12 million, man. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. He was worth 40 million. How does a guy worth 40 million
last year? This year, I would say 25 million. I would have been happy with. Almost the same as Joe Willock. I mean, why not? I think he's worth that much, and his ceiling and everything. I mean, yeah, come on, and he's more of a defensive player. He's more of an all-rounded player than Willock, in my opinion. Also, a bit more physical. He can put a tackle in, and I think he can hold the ball better than Joe Willock. But yeah, just disappointing.
And guys,
I have to head out soon. So when you're ready to talk about Aubameyang and Lacazette and closing remarks, then I'm ready.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a look at that now because let me just change the banner here. Lacazette and Aubameyang. So we talked about this on the weekend, and I said there's obviously something fishy going on. I heard a few rumblings. I couldn't talk about it at the time, because I know that if I said something, that guy would have known, my trusted guy would have known it was me. Yeah. It was me that had opened my mouth. So I didn't want to say anything about it. There is some rubbish going out there saying that they had corona. I don't believe that at all, guys, because if it was corona, it would have been reported. And that's an FA thing there. They have to by rule, they have to report all of their COVID. So all of that stuff that's coming out is complete and utter rubbish. There is instability going on there at the highest level. A lot of these guys don't want to be here anymore. And that's what we have to understand. They don't want to be here. And we're hearing stuff in Barcelona talking about Coutinho. And I can tell you from my sources that's not true. I don't know what you've heard, African Guna, but my sources are saying there's no truth to that at all. Barcelona are not interested.
So yeah, I mean, Fabrizio Romano, the guru of transfers, has also said, listen, like Arsenal don't want Coutinho. That is pretty much what he said, right? And they are looking for a striker, but Aubameyang is on 250 plus K on wages, and Barcelona have to get rid of like 5-6 players because they can't afford wages. So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I wouldn't be too fussed. I'd rather give Lacazette, to be honest, and get Coutinho, because again, I have no faith. I know Coutinho's 29. He's not the same player, but I'm so desperate, man. I'm so desperate. I'll take anything right now, and that's unfortunately how I feel. I think You're right. I mean, they're definitely not ill. I personally think what happened is what's been happening to Arsenal for the last 10 years. Your so-called top players realize that the club has no ambition. They were promised that signings were going to come and compete. I mean, I'm sure Aubameyang had conversations before he signed that contract saying, I need more in this team. I need more stars in this team. I need more players to give me service. And Edu and Arteta must have said, yeah, don't worry. The Kroenkes have given us money to spend. We will spend money. We will bring those players. And 2 weeks into, the last 2 weeks of the transfer window, nothing has been done. And I think personally, Lacazette and Aubameyang have turned around and said, screw this. We're not going to embarrass ourselves and deteriorate our career and our reputation to play for Arsenal this season when you have no change in the team. And
no change at all. No change. You have to remember, Henry left because we didn't change. Vieira left because we wasn't ambitious. Fabregas, Thierry Henry, Sanchez. All of these guys left because we showed no ambition.
All these players went to Man City because they showed ambition. It wasn't all about the money. We, as fans, we were hurt and we were like, yeah, you're going for the money. But I mean, look at them. They went and won trophies. And a lot of the players that leave Arsenal, most of the time, go on and do better things. And they're playing in better teams. Look at Coquelin. The guy came back and literally won the Europa League.
And he did it, and he did it by just controlling us and mastering us in the midfield. Yeah, that midfield I talk about. All I saw over those 2 games against Villarreal was Robocop just killing us. Francis Coquelin, who I rated, is probably, for me, he's one of the best defensive midfielders that we've had since Vieira and Gilberto, and we offed him off for 10 million and a bag of chips.
Listen, there's multiple combinations, right? It could be Partey, Aouar, Smith Rowe, Partey, Aouar, Madison. I mean, we need drastic change in our midfield. Our midfield is the issue. I don't think we need a new striker. Personally, I don't think we need a new. Definitely not. We have Martinelli, we have Balogun, we have Aubameyang, Lacazette. Yes, they're off form, but just as soon as the creative sparks start again, they're going to start making those runs automatically because it's engraved in their brains. They've been playing this sport their whole lives. And I think this system has completely capitulated. It's like they're brain dead. They don't know how to make those runs anymore, or they're tired of making them because Xhaka, as we saw, can't make the pass to Martinelli.
He can't make the pass. Yeah.
So,
And the thing is, and some people might say he can make the pass. The issue is he's doing it too slowly. Our build-up play is among the slowest in the Premier League, and teams are able to dig their heels in and defend us with ease. Where you get controlled and where you get success is when you play the ball ultra quickly. When it comes out, you take 2 touches, bang, and the ball moves forward. It's too slow.
2 out of 5 times, I think he gets that pass completely right, like the right precision, like in the path of the striker, right amount of power and stuff. I think 3 out of 5 times he's completely messing that up, and it's going out for a goal kick. That's my opinion. He doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the quality to make that pass. So even if he tried, most of the time it's not going to happen. So I think personally, if you drastically change the midfield, I am even willing to go into the season with Okonkwo as our second keeper. Keep Leno. Don't buy a keeper. Don't spend this money on Ramsdale. Go get Aouar and go get Madison, or go get Aouar and Bissouma. 2 midfield players need to come into the starting 11.
Yes, I agree.
Our whole team will completely change.
And that's the thing. You've hit you've sold me on that. Aouar and Bissouma, that's 75 million. That is job done. That will fix your midfield.
Even less than 75 million. And those 2 signings, if we don't get a striker, even if Bellerin still, I promise you, we will. The change is so much that I think people won't care about if Bellerin or Chambers. They won't care because we're going to.
They won't care. Because you'll have players that will be assisting the strikers, and they'll be dropping back, and they'll be helping the defense. Your midfield is your core spine, your cog, and that will overall improve your team as a whole.
The midfield dictates the game. We've known this ever since watching or loving the sport. Everyone knows the midfield dictates the game, regardless of how the game has changed. That has always stayed true. The midfield will always dictate the game, and that's why Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, all these huge teams, they control games because their midfields
are so good.
You know,
Yeah, that's the engine of the team. Facebook user who I found out now is Calvin Thompson. Calvin says Xhaka was never a defensive midfielder when he plays for Swiss. He plays as a number 10 since he's got into the European.
Yeah, reason he got into the European 11 is because Switzerland made it quite far in the tournament. I think if they got knocked out in the group stages, no way he's making top 11. Starting 11 European team. That's my opinion. But again, I mean, very biased. I would never give him any credit. I don't care, regardless, because even if he does something good, people overhype it. It's not as good as, you know what I mean, the best of the best that I've witnessed in my life. You're talking about Xabi Alonso. You're talking about Modric, Cruz. You're talking about elite level players, and you're comparing these guys with Xhaka. It's just so sad, man.
Sad. Leander said, Apollo, remember when Aubameyang got COVID last year? It was the same story until it was malaria. Yeah, it wasn't COVID, it was malaria. And that was on the back end of his mum getting ill. It was his mum that was ill, apparently, with COVID. So he went through a lot last year. Kuke says it doesn't matter much. We always seem to do well against Chelsea at home. Can we win? Well, we could, but do we want to win? I think people what's happening at the moment.
Blinded, Apollo. People.
Yeah, I think it's do we want to win?
Games. It's only been the last 3 games that we did well against Chelsea. The past 20, we've been getting our ass spanked for years. It's only the last 3 games, and now all of a sudden, people are like, oh no, we haven't lost the last 4 games out of 5 against Chelsea, so we have a chance to win. Come on, guys.
I think the question is that's coming out of the Brentford game. Fans are walking away, pundits are walking away, the media's walking away from saying the players gave up on Arteta. So that's why I said, yes, we do have the ability to beat Chelsea at home. We have the ability to beat anybody at home with the home fans there, being the 12th man, giving the team a kick in the backside. But do the players want to do it? That's the question. We'll know that on Sunday.
The only way we win is we create one chance like we did last game, and we take that chance and we sit. We sit like ducks and we defend for our lives. It's the only way, because there's no way we can compete with Chelsea. They're just way too good, way too powerful. Lukaku's going to be on. He's first debut back with fans, back in the Premier League. I mean, this guy is going to be eating it up. He's going to
be a monster. It's going to be a monster. Facebook user, which I believe is Tony Cox. What's going on, Tony? Big shout out to you. I hope everything's going well with you. Tony says that, don't forget, Alex Song had 16 assists in 1 season with Arsenal. He had Van Persie in front of him. He had Theo Walcott on his right-hand side. He had Rosicky. He was absolutely. He had Fabregas. He was going nuts. Like
players in that Arsenal team, in that era, that period that we had, I think he was one of our top players, and he
was absolutely brilliant.
Fielder that could create. I mean, it's very hard to find that. He was a bit rash, and he wasn't what we were looking for. But now, when you look back, you're like, you would take.
I wish I had him. Yeah, I remember he would play 40-yard balls over to Theo Walcott. Walcott always knew he would make those runs, and Song would be looking for him. We don't have anybody like that now. We don't have anyone in the midfield with vision who can play a pass. So
I've got to go because I have soccer guys, unfortunately. Sorry.
No problem.
The last point I wanted to make is I've been struggling to sleep, as I told you, and I think a lot of things are playing in my head. There's a lot of stress, and people don't understand that, like, when you dedicate your life to a team like this and you spend hours doing podcasts and you never miss a game, and it's such a huge part of your life, it really does affect your mental health, and it plays on your mind. You just unfortunately, that's how it is. I'm a fanatic of Arsenal, and it's like a religion to me, right? So I've been struggling to sleep, and I really was reminiscing that in the Arsene Wenger days, we used to create so many chances. I remember myself as a teenager sitting on the couch, and always, like, we were creating so many chances that I would always have my hands on my head saying, like, oh, we just missed a chance. Now we cannot even make chances.
So here's the numbers for you. 16.2 chances per game under Arsene Wenger. 12.6 chances per game under Unai Emery. 8.2 chances per game under Arteta. We are making half the amount, 16 to 8, half the amount per game from Arteta to where Wenger used to be. Half the chances per game.
And we were crying out for finishers. Back then, we used to just score like it was easy. It was like water. We would score like it was water, but we couldn't defend. But at least we would outscore. So sometimes worth it.
And fans
Now,
complained. Fans complained that Giroud wouldn't score 20 goals. They said Theo Walcott was crap and he had no footballing brain, or that was mostly the media.
it was a
We
bad finish.
complained. We had guys scoring 20 goals a game. Walcott in his last year had 19 goals in 27 games. I
But
mean,
we
it's
have to
bonkers.
remember, though, the game has changed as well, right? These smaller teams have way more money. They're way more attractive now, and the game has changed. The Premier League has changed. It's way more competitive, and we just didn't go with the curve. You know, we didn't put that money when we were supposed to like make sure we were staying on top of all these teams that were trying to push into this bracket. And now they've all come up and they've literally usurped us. They literally like swallowed us all, and now we're in that mess with them.
That's it. We've been sucked down into mediocrity so much that for you to come out of it is, 100 million. We talked about 70 million, on Awar and Basuma. That is money well spent. But you know what? That would just make us competitive. That's what it would do. That would put us in the mix of getting in the top 6. It wouldn't get us top 4. It would just make us competitive. If we are right now, we're getting dragged down. We're going down like the Titanic, people. We're getting dragged down into that.
That's my issue with Odegaard. He doesn't take us into a top 4 team. He takes us into maybe a top 6. And I don't want that. I want a player that's going to come in and going to make us a top 4 team. I don't want to bring in Odegaard and wait a few years and then replace him and say, no, now we bring a proper number 10 that's going to take us to Premier League challengers. I don't have time to wait for that. We need it now.
Well, I think looking back, firstly, Odegaard only had half a season with us and he did pretty well. I looked back at his time at Real Sociedad and his other loans, and he's really consistent, double-digit assist player, and he gets you goals as well. He's had 8 goals and 10 goals in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So, and that's my biggest issue with him. Like I've said, Awar won't score enough goals. Odegaard can.
I think Awar would score more than Odegaard, but that's my. I've seen videos, highlights. I haven't seen him play, right? This is just based off of what I've seen. And this guy can score different types of goals. Odegaard can only score the long-range top bins. He can't score just any, like, through the leg. He doesn't have all those, finishes in his locker. He can just maybe once in a while score a goal from long range. I want a midfielder that can score anything. He can chip the keeper. He can do a bicycle. I want the full package. That's why you pay for that, right?
And before we go, I can see the frustration because you get a Bruno Fernandes, you get a Salah. These players were 30 odd million. So they're out there. You just have to find them and bring them into the club. These players are out there.
Right system, and Apollo, let's not forget, Salah is nothing without Mane and the rest of his team, right? You can have a superstar. We can get Messi, Ronaldo. It's not gonna take. Of course, it's gonna improve us, but it's not gonna take us to where we want. We have always had this issue. Sell Sanchez, bring in Aubameyang instead of keeping Sanchez and bringing Aubameyang to make the triple threat. We are never been that team. We always try to just do the bare minimum, replace as cheap as we can, and sell cheap as and this is all
this is a result of it. This is a result of it. We need a goalkeeper. We need a right back. We need 2 midfielders. We need a striker. We don't need any wingers. We got enough of those.
I don't think we need a striker. For me, it's right back. Bellerin has to go. I mean, this guy is asking to leave Arsenal when, who are you? We've been wanting to get you out of this team for years, and now you're coming and telling us that you want to leave. Who is this guy think he is? Oh, I'm looking at it. I'm baffled, right? But again, this is the way Arsenal managed the club, and this is the situations that happen. That now Inter Milan, whoever it is, are not going to pay 20 million for Bellerin because 1, they know he wants to leave, and 2, they know that Arsenal want to sell him, and that we're struggling to sell so many players that we at some point we're going to have to sell for cheap. We're going to have to do it because we need to buy and we need to get rid of some of our players, right? Really
agreed.
I really hope things change. It doesn't look like it. We're moving way, way too slow, just like our team is way too slow, and we struggle. We're way too slow, way too lethargic, predictable. We're not proactive. We're very reactive.
Yeah.
I really hope something changes because I see us losing 3-4-0 against Chelsea. Easy. 3-4-0 against Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think we're going to walk out of the stadium at the end of the game because they're just not going to tolerate it. And I think we're going to get spanked by City. And after that, I think we might get 1 or 2 players, and then the season will win those 2 easy games we have after City.
Yeah, because we've got Norwich as well and a couple of teams,
everything is going to collapse. The transfer window is going to be closed, and it's going to be too late. And we're going to be sitting there twiddling our thumbs, saying, "What did we do this summer? We didn't do anything, and now we're stuck until January." And Arteta going to say, "Oh yeah, January was coming. We'll get the same shit."
Yeah, same every yes. That's it. Listen, I said everything I needed to say in my rant video. I totally agree with you, and we're seeing it happen right before our eyes. That's the frustration. We talked about it for years, and we're seeing it happen again right before our eyes.
Zero expectation, zero emotion. I mean, yeah, of course, emotion, because I love this club. It's my team, man. But not as much as it used to be. Like, I told you, Apollo, if the other team scores, I don't even react. I'm just like, yeah, what can I say? I expected it. I knew we were gonna concede. And when we don't score, we're not creating. I'm just sitting there watching, like, what am I watching? Like, really, what is? I think Sunday league teams can create more chances than Arsenal, and I think it's all to do with Arteta, his system.
All right then, guys, listen, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to be back later on. I'm going to do a fantasy football week 2 cover up, so we'll see how your teams got on, and we'll see how everybody else got on at 101. Thank you very much, African Guna, for joining us and giving us your thoughts as well. And to the rest of you guys, try to keep the faith. Try to back your team, because look, they need us more now than ever, man. This team is hurting big time. They are hurting.
They don't care about us, and they also don't have pride as footballers. I'm sorry, and that is a problem I had with Ozil. He lost passion for the game because he was getting paid too much, and he realized that the team around him was never going to achieve. So he said, "I'm just going to get the money here until I get kicked out and just do kind of the bare minimum." And that's the problem with Arsenal. We don't have
there's a few players doing that now.
And Martinelli, and we know who they are. There's not many players that have that pride, that I'm embarrassed that I lost against Brentford and that they scored. And there's no embarrassment, there's no shame.
Yeah, Ben White's probably wondering, what have I done? All right then, guys. All the best. Speak to you guys later, man. Nice one for joining us, Let African Guna.
Yeah, no problem.